One angle is, let's say, my Holocaust memorabilia survivor background, and the other angle is actually growing up in Israel, learning to detest these kind of sources. So let's go to the first one first. I'm a second-generation Holocaust survivor. Both of my parents are almost in their 80s, landscape painters, in fact. My dad took after the Holocaust the more sort of deteriorating things that sort of breaking down, things that has no resurrection. And he started to sort of infuse his art with that. My mom actually took the more sort of celebratory side from her adventures there. Poppy field, things that actually make people happy, somber, and sort of over the top. I always took these sort of my mom's greeting card habits and my dad's sort of reality check in a way, and try to bastardize them together and to morph a sort of identity. My other side is the background that I actually grew up in Israel. I did my BA there, and the Israeli art history is only sort of about 40 to 50 years long, and it was always, in a sense, grew up on art povera, DIY, very sort of low-tech kind of art. So coming from that sort of area and teachers, I used to sort of dislike this sort of couch, East European type of landscape. They always saw this as a bad taste, and especially brought up by two parents from there who are landscape artists, I always saw it as something that's very over-commercialized, very sort of, something that they wanted to leave behind and open a new sort of, do a new life for themselves without all that history, something that I really rejected. So I tried to take that aspect and the sort of exploration of my East European background and Holocaust memorabilia that my parents brought with and infuse it into my art. Now, living today, I always was infused about art about the process of art, or art about how I can actually repaint art that was already repainted, either in reproduction, either on the computer screen, computer games, and magazines. So a lot of these works basically around you is actually a bastardization of found landscape, East European landscape, Holocaust landscape, Constable, Gainsborough, Barbizon School, Albert Bierstadt, Thomas Cole landscape, and also stuff that I actually photographed and sort of manipulated it together. So that's really the basic thing. I grew up in Israel and then I moved to London, and in London you actually stop living off magazines and start living the real art world, because you get in touch with people on a daily basis like Jacob Chapman, Nigel Cook, Martin Maloney, people coming to his theater and interact. And there I started to find that there's actually a long history of landscape painting that I always liked and learned to sort of detest or move away from it. So I kind of started to embrace it back then, and when I moved to New York, I started to actually go up to Westchester, go up to the West Coast, and start exploring those areas further. And found that that's something that I want to explore further, and I want to sort of dissect why I'm actually sort of attached to that sort of bad taste landscape, or something that has a really big baggage in history. So that's about, in generalized, that's about it. And I've been showing quite fastly. I have around 30 to 40 shows behind me, a lot of 5 to 6 solo shows ahead. So things have been good. In general, I'll just sort of point out a few things, because the one from, it's a cat, yes. The one from Delirium, for example, is actually taken from old Greek statues that I found, headless statues, that I bastardized into this sort of meditative Benetton ad. That landscape, the small one over there, titled Soul Survivor, is actually based on 3 screensavers and 3 computer games that I bastardized together. The one over here is actually based again on pastiche between some reading card habits and 3 screensavers from different years. You'll probably recognize the Windows one for sure.
The drummer, where is he from?
From another screensaver that I found. Don't found screensavers. This one is actually taken from sort of more of a somber landscape, but the pole is actually taken from a postcard from the Second World War my parents brought with, and I kind of found it in the sense of this sort of lonely soldier in the wilderness, of traces of people who are there to a certain extent. The one behind you is sort of a more natural kind of landscape, but as you see, there's always infiltration of people littering something, the unmapped utopian sort of over-the-top scenery. This one next to it is actually taken from people going through the rubble in 3 places in the world, one from Hong Kong, one from a place in East Europe, and actually another place from Israel. And the background is basing on old etchings of Mount Hokusai and actually Albert Dürer. The other one over there...
Why is there a killer whale?
Sorry?
There's a killer whale coming out of the...
Yeah,
Oh, well, it's basically about mismatch. It's actually based on sort of a toy that I found in that area, where those people were looking into the rubble, and I had sort of enlightenment in that sense. There's no linear stories in most of the work, sort of no beginning, middle, and an end. Just sort of an infusion between things that has a certain relation to my background and things that I like to see in other paintings. The one over there is actually based again on the mirror image of the girl is based on Greek sculptures that I found. The inflated toy is a Holocaust memorabilia actually of my mom's, one of the toys from 1944. The water is based on a screensaver of water, of Windows water, and the background is based on this sort of, again, over-the-top kind of heroic, traditional, historical landscape. So that's about it. I hate kind of sort of like explaining exactly which is what, just give sort of a source material sort of references. But at the end of the day, hopefully I'm, tried with the source material that I infatuated with, create my own statement in this sort of vast, vocabulary that I like. I mean, I do also explore new areas in black and white painting that has to do with more focus on areas in East Europe after the Holocaust, but that's a new series. And I'm also doing a little bit on the side of photography and stuff like that, but that's sort of the main, let's call it trademark or things that people actually know me across Europe, Israel, and over here. So that's about it.